sure to check out my very own website at kidscoding.com today. Hey everybody, it's Kids Coding and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be learning about CSS Margins. So I think my plan for now is to just alternate between CSS and JavaScript and finish those up. HTML, I'm pretty much finished with it. I'll just add some in between if I have some ideas. But yeah, if some of y'all viewers in the comments can suggest what I can do or anything I can do, then I'd be proud to do it for you guys. Margins. So you probably know what a margin is. It's pretty much the dimensions of a specific shape and stuff. That's pretty much how I can describe it. So the actual definition, I guess, is what we create. There's space around elements outside of any defined borders. So CSS gives you the full control of the margins, giving us 4 properties for setting the margin on each side of the element, which are called. So there are 4 ways of there's 4 properties of the margin. So there's margin top, margin bottom, margin, or let me do it in the order. Margin top, margin right, margin bottom, and then margin left. So those are the 4 properties of the margin. So they can have one of these values. So there then are one of these 4 values. There's auto, length, percentage, and inherit. I'm not going to talk about inherit because I feel like you don't really need to learn much about it. I feel like it's not really that important. But auto, it pretty much centers the margin. That's pretty much what that is. Length just specifies the length of the margin. Percentage just gives the margin a percentage. I prefer doing the length in pixels. I'm not really a fan of doing it in the centimeters or stuff or in the percentages. I just like doing pixels and only pixels. Cause yeah, I just feel like it's the best. And then inherit, just for you guys to know, I'm not gonna cover it, but it specifies that the margin should be inherited from the parent element. So let's get started with the main thing. So let's say if I had something like style. Keep in mind we always start CSS with the style, no exceptions. And then let's do the div element. And then after that, let's do a curvy bracket. And then let's see what's good. So I'll add a border. Don't worry about the border for now. I'm just gonna add it because I kind of know what it is. But I will cover the border in another video, and I will do the background color too. Don't worry about both of those. I will cover them in another video so that you can understand. So let's say we make it 1 pixels, and let's say we did solid black. For you, if you use the same Sublime text, it should be colored for you. But for some reason, I'm on a C++ because I was practicing it off camera. So that's why I need to save it as a CSS file. So I will do that. Just keep in mind whenever you do save it, it's still .html because CSS and HTML are kind of connected together. So like I don't know a good example. Like what's a good example? I'd say like Google and YouTube. Like they're sort of connected within each other because one bought another. So I guess it's kind of like that. So let me do it. So 1 pixel solid black is good for the border. And then let's do a semicolon. Let's say margin top. Let's make the top 100 pixels. Once again, I prefer to use pixels just because I like it. I'm a big fan of pixels. Let's make the bottom 100 pixels again. So if you don't know already, so like there's a box. So like the top line of the box is the margin top and then the bottom right left. So yeah, that's pretty much what it means by top, bottom, right, left. And then let's say we have margin right. Let's say 150 pixels. Let's semicolon that. and then let's make it 80 pixels. That looks good enough. And background color, let's make it light blue. Okay, so that should be good for now. So we finished the CSS. So we need the HTML, and the HTML is kind of going to be pretty simple. Let's do body. Let's do div. Just to review, this is the selector. So whenever we use this element or this tag, then the CSS will be applied to it. If I did something like a paragraph, then the changes or the CSS wouldn't be applied to that because this is the selector. So let's say I did something like CSS and then ended it like that. And then finally I need to end the body. That's good enough. Let me save it as. Oh, I still have to save this C++. But all files, and I'm gonna type it margins.html. Remember, we're still saving in HTML because and as you see, it's color coded. So yeah, we're still doing it in HTML because they're kind of connected together. So let me open margins, and as you see, it makes a margin based on the specified dimensions or the values that we put in. So that's pretty much what it does. So as you see, it became light blue because we changed the background color. We can change that. We can change this to whatever color we want. So let's say I did something like black. But as you see, if I do that, then a problem will occur. And you probably already know what problem. It just becomes black and the text just becomes invisible. So we can change that. And the only other way we can change that is by changing the text color. So we can make it color. And then let's say we had something like white. Now it should work. And as you see, it does work, and it becomes with the white text color. So that's pretty much how that works. Then I can do something called the shorthand property. This is like honestly like a shortcut. It really shortens the code and it makes all the properties in one line like this. So I'm gonna do something like I'm just gonna change the CSS. I'm gonna say paragraph. And then let's say border 1 pixels. Let's say solid black. That should work. And then I'm gonna say margin 25 pixels, 50 pixels, 75 pixels, 100 pixels. So what pretty much happens is that 25 pixels will be the top, 50 will be the bottom, 75 will be the right, and 100 will be the left, I believe is what it is. Because the order goes top, bottom, right, or yeah, top, bottom, right, left, I believe is what it is. So that's pretty much it for that. If we wanted, we can add an optional thing such as background color, properties, so let's make it light blue. If you're going to change the background color, please make sure your text is readable by changing the text color, by doing color and stuff. But I think light blue will work and it will be easily readable. So let me go to margins again. And as you see, it just says CSS. And I made a mistake. And you probably know what that mistake already is. Because the selector right here says paragraph. And since I didn't apply paragraph, the CSS didn't apply to the HTML. So let me finish that up again. And there. Now the CSS should be applied to the HTML. Because the selector we said was paragraph, and we didn't put paragraph, we did div instead. So here, now the CSS will work. So we can even, we don't have to have 4 dimensions. We can even have something like 3 or something like that. Let me just quickly add something. If you've watched my HTML videos, or like back when I was in 5th grade, I was sounding like such a little kid. XD. Anyway, so you probably watched that. If you haven't, then you should. I don't know if it's still there, but you're probably gonna have to dig down. But anyway, it just creates a horizontal line. That's just what it does. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much that. So let me move on to the next part. So I said that the margin property doesn't have to have 4 values. It can have 3. So what this does is that this makes 50 right here is the left and the right. 25 is the top and 75 is the bottom. So let's save it and see what happens. And that's what happens. So it kind of changes based on how many you can put. You can even do 2, such as like that. And then that does that, and then you need and then I'm just trying to see if I did something wrong. I don't think I did anything wrong. And then lastly, if we make it with 1 dimension, then all of them, all 4 of the them would be 25 pixels. So that is how the shorthand property works. So lastly, we have something called the auto margin. So I pretty much explained what this was. It kind of like horizontally centers the margin. So let me change the selector, and then let's say I did something like width. Let's say I made the width 300 pixels. And then let's make the margin auto, border 1 pixel solid red. That looks good enough. And then I'm gonna change that. And then let's see what happens now. And as you see, it horizontally centers it, and then it does CSS. I wanted to make the border red, so I said solid red instead of solid black, but you can change that to whatever you want. And then if you wanted, you can do a background color, which is what I won't do. So once again, auto just centers it, and then HR right here, that creates a horizontal line. So if you want to check out my the horizontal video back in like 5th grade, you can click on the HTML playlist on the top right hand corner, and then you'll scroll down and you'll find it. But anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe to the channel so we all can get to 200 subscribers. We're all in this together. It's not just only me. And let's get to 200 by the end of April. Check out my website at kidscoding.com, and I'll see you guys next time.